the right location seems to be what every retailer is focused on in terms of enhancing their supply chain, because the store is no longer used for just an in-person shop. It's now plugged into the supply chain and used for last mile distribution fulfillment.
I'm here today with Conor Flynn, CEO of Kimco Realty. How are supply fundamentals impacting leasing demands across the Kimco portfolio today? And do you expect any shift in those trends?
So one of the big benefits that we're experiencing today at Kimco is really the lack of any new supply. It's been over a decade since any real material new supply has come online. And what we've seen is that the demand from the retailers is quite strong, especially for the right location, because the right location seems to be what every retailer is focused on in terms of enhancing their supply chain, because the store is no longer used for just an in-person shop. It's now plugged into the supply chain and used for last mile distribution fulfillment. And that's been the big change post-pandemic, is retailers now are allocating more capital to their store fleet. So what was once going to just growing the e-commerce business is now focusing more on where the highest margin is, and that's really the store. And the combination of the two is quite powerful. So if you're able to fit out the store to be able to distribute and fulfill, that's really what the new Target prototype is all about. They just launched actually last week. It's a larger store that has a bigger back of house that can fulfill and distribute those online orders. And Target is now doing over 95% of online orders being fulfilled from their stores.
How has the recent monetization of part of Kimco's Albertsons investment positioned the company's balance sheet?
So we're very fortunate at Kimco. We have the strongest balance sheet we've ever had, the lowest leverage we've ever had, and the most liquidity we've ever had. And then you combine that with the Albertsons stake that we're actually now starting to monetize, and that just enhances our liquidity position. We just sold $300 million worth of shares, so that gives us a unique position to have really some dry powder at a time where it could be very challenging for people to raise new capital. And so that's giving us an opportunity to look at our investment opportunity set and say, what's the best return, the best use of that capital for our shareholders to create some outsized growth. And we have found some portfolio of grocery shopping centers that we just announced on Long Island in our backyard to acquire as a portion of that capital that can go immediately to work and have it be accretive for us. We still have over 23 million shares of Albertsons left. So the way the tax structure works is we can potentially sell between $300 to $400 million a year. So over the next 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to monetize that and so bring in fresh capital to go and reinvest.
And what are some of the ways in which Kimco will be monitoring the financial health of its tenants in the year ahead?
Yeah, so the pandemic has allowed us, I think, a lot more communication with our retailers. And what we've found is that we have a lot more data that we can analyze on a real-time basis. And so what we're doing is we're looking at both our anchors and our small shops to look for the cracks, to look to understand that, hey, as the tides might be changing, where do we first see a change in either consumer behavior, tenant behavior, or payment behavior? And we haven't seen it yet. The traffic is quite strong at our shopping centers. The leasing demand, as I mentioned before, is near record highs. And we haven't seen any payment delinquencies yet from either the anchor side or the small shop side. And usually that one of those things is really the start of something that's going to happen that creates some sort of headwinds in the horizon. We do anticipate it being challenging for others to raise capital. We do think that interest rates probably will continue to rise. The consumer is being stretched with the inflationary pressures, but they're still shopping for groceries. They're still going for essential goods and services, and they're still engaging in the shopping center. So as the leasing demand continues, we'll continue to monitor the health of the consumer. But overall, today anyways, the strength is still there.